welcome to the Westminster Effects Doxology Podcast, where we exist for the glory of God and the tone of his people. Go follow us, all that good stuff, and you are.
I'm Cory Truax. For this purpose of this conversation, I'm one of the elders at Riverview Baptist Church. We meet in Greenville, South Carolina. You can find more about us at riverviewgbl.org.
And a little less often these days with the Cory Truax show.
Yeah.
But you did just post one yesterday.
Primarily just to promote the fact that I was coming on the Westminster Doxology Podcast.
Yeah, fair enough.
I came up with 15 minutes of other stuff to say, but I was primarily going to my feed to make sure everyone knew I'm going to be on a good show tomorrow.
Yeah.
A show that has equipment and cool stuff to play with. So
Your terms are acceptable.
Yeah. I said to my wife before I left the house, like, I'm on Cody's show today. We're only waist up on camera. And,
so you think.
And so I put on jeans and I walked into the table was gone.
We found who only listens to the audio.
Yeah. I mean, I will see your Instagram reels. I got on TikTok once or twice and you were there.
That's good.
But I don't even follow you on TikTok. I don't think it just happened. You just showed up in my feed,
Right.
And then I
post and run away.
You should, yeah, sure. TikTok is not going to be a great place.
Yeah.
But I came for the waist up camera view and came in to right. I got on jeans with the rest of a suit.
Well, the socks work. So.
Thank you, Chef. I appreciate that. Cody Fields, it's always good to see you, my brother.
Always. So you last week were at the Southern Baptist Convention. This is our annual tradition at this point of you go to the convention and then you tell us what happened.
Yes.
Well, it seemed like a pretty good convention this year in Orlando.
Yeah, it's our annual meeting. So the convention is the organization. The organization holds an annual meeting. Mm-hmm. And if you are of the, I hate to use these words, they're so often political, but of the conservative wing of us theologically, ecclesiologically.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ecclesiologically is how I say that?
Yes.
If you're in the conservative wing of that, you left Orlando just juiced and really encouraged more than any of these conventions. I went to my first one in 2000 and I believe that was 16. It was in Phoenix, and everyone left mad and confused. And then we went through a period of 3 conventions in a row where seemed like all we did was talk about sexual abuse.
Yep.
And poorly handled from every direction. And then COVID happened, so we missed 1 year. And then it was right before COVID that the CRT thing passed in, I guess that was 2018 in Birmingham. And so there's not been a convention where we cleanly left there was no reason on the way home to say, yeah, this was great, but on the way home from this one, this was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're theologically and ecclesiologically conservative minded, it went quite well for us.
Very nice. And so the big thing was the Truth and Unity Amendment.
Yeah.
Introduced by Albert Mohler, president of Southern Seminary in Louisville.
How much do you know about what it was trying to do?
That's a good question. How about you just explain to us?
Good.
the background and all that kind of stuff.
Some context.
Yeah.
Okay. First, I'll give you the outcome before I give you the context. 75%, man. We only needed 66%.
Right.
I went down saying, it's going to pass. I even said to your friend, Keith Foskey, who was there doing some man on the street, I think it's going to pass. It's going to be so close. Not close.
Was not close.
75% of the room. Now, here is our context. Baptists of all kinds, particular Baptists, general Baptists, all the Baptists have understood for most of time that the office of elder is reserved to biblically qualified men and the functions of elder.
Right.
Not just the title, but the things elders do, which would include preach, are reserved to qualified men. Not just men, not dudes, but biblically qualified and called men.
Yes.
And we've had some churches that wear our label and have in the past given money, and at the time had given money to the convention, who were leaving that definition, at least functionally. We found there were some churches just straight up giving the title.
Right.
But we had some churches giving the functions over.
There were some where they would say something like children's pastor, and it was sloppy, but not functioning as an elder or actually a pastor. It was just a ministry director or however that, and we can quibble over that kind of thing.
You know how I tend to be the peacemaker? This is one where I quibble.
Yeah.
I think it's important to quibble.
Right. Yes.
I am totally willing to go. There are a lot of battles people want to fight. I go, I have no interest in that battle. I'm going to do something else. You guys have fun.
Right.
But this is a battle where I get a little charged up about this.
Right. Definitions matter here.
That's a good, simple way to say it. Definitions matter. And it matters apparently because it matters to the Lord. If the Lord loves the church and the Lord gave me a method whereby it must be practiced and taken care of, I just want to do it that way.
Right.
No matter how it affects anybody else. We got to do it that way. We just have to be obedient, period, bottom line.
Right.
And you told me in 1 Timothy 2 or 3 that this is for biblically qualified men and the functions of it. So we've had some issues there. Mm-hmm. In our current governing documents, we say it.
Yeah.
But this Truth and Unity Amendment from Dr. Albert Mohler is to put it in our Constitution, another governing document. And if we pass it again next year in Indianapolis, I think the outcome is twofold. I think he's hoping for two things.
Okay.
I think he's hoping to provide abundant clarity to those who disagree that you don't belong here.
Right.
You should opt yourself out. You should stop closely identifying with us. You should leave. Let me actually give some credit to a place I don't give a ton of credit to a lot of times. Locally, New Spring, here.
Yeah.
Just decided we're out.
Yep.
That was the honorable thing to do. I think you guys are wrong. I don't think that woman should be preaching to you guys every 5 or 6 weeks. I think you're wrong for it. I think the leadership will stand in judgment for it.
Yes.
And you did the right high integrity thing by just walking away.
Also, yes.
And so I think Dr. Mohler is trying to give impetus to folks that disagree. You're just way outnumbered here. You should leave. Mm-hmm. And two, to give even more strength to those who do disagree, but they don't plan on leaving. We're going to force the issue.
Yeah.
We're going to have the fidelity of the Scripture here.
And that is something where fidelity to Scripture, and this is not I don't think this is necessarily a second tier issue. I kind of put this in a 1.5.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Where no, it doesn't necessarily send you to hell, but this is a very clear instruction.
Yeah.
So are you going to do it or not? And so we can argue fervently over Calvinism versus it's not Arminianism in the Southern Baptist Convention. It's traditionalism.
You're right. Yes.
Or Molinism or any of those things. We can argue over eschatology, and we should have those fights. But this is one of those where God says, do this, not this.
Yes.
And you got a bunch of people saying, but I want to do it. Mm-hmm. And you don't know God's call on my life. Well, I think you dialed the wrong number.
Yeah. No, I do. That's the same way I've had to say to at least one man in my life who was married, that it just seems like he had the wrong soulmate and the Lord intended him to be with this other woman. Ooh. No, he didn't. I just know he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't care what your experience is, what your emotions tell you. I just know because the scriptures say to be true to your wife. Yeah. We're done with the conversation. You weren't called to it. And because the scriptures are abundantly clear about I don't like when we say it this way, that men should be pastors, that called and qualified a very particular subset of men are to be pastors. And I am just as strident about the men who disqualify themselves sitting down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are still in the family. You can be used, but it's time to drop that. It's time to drop that.
And that prime example of that recently is Lawson. Because he's like, yes, I'm repenting and I'm under the care of other elders and I am not in the pulpit.
Yes. I am trying to say here, I will join you in calling it a 1.5 issue because this title, this office is only one of very few the Lord gave us.
Yeah.
And we therefore have to be quite precious with it. If I may wax eloquently just for a moment, the best I can, on the office of pastor. When I think about its predecessor, the idea of the prophets and priests in Israel, and so now Israel being, I shouldn't say it that way, now the people of God being organized in churches, and this office we'll call it transmuting to pastor. So this priest, prophet, pastor, we're saying that he is supposed to be so invested in the scriptures that any entrepreneur can come and ask him how to be a Christian entrepreneur. And he has counsel for that.
Yep.
That a Christian doctor and a Christian teacher and a Christian musician and a Christian surgeon can come and say, I want to do my thing Christianly. Mm-hmm. And he's got something to say to all of it.
Yep.
That should not puff up a man. That should terrify him.
To be an expert in the scriptures is to be a generalist.
Yes. And so I need to be able to be expert in this most important thing to be able to equip the people of God. Think of that. A people of God who want to be faithful but don't know how. Mm-hmm. I think about, let's say the hearts of the people were decent in Babylon who got sent back to build the wall with Nehemiah and Ezra. They want to do the right thing. They literally don't know how.
Right.
There is no law for them to follow.
Yep.
We got to have this office well preserved. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that we were seeing some cracks, some fissures in the convention was with women taking this office or its function, getting up on the stage.
Yep.
And Dr. Moeller has provided for us a method whereby we can sort ourselves out.
Now, one of the things that I've seen floating around is, we need to deal with that 25%, which is true. But I think you also have to grant that 25% may have other motives at play other than just an outright rejection of biblical truth.
Yeah, I think if I judge my Twitter and Baptist review type of Facebook groups, I think we have about 10%. 10% that are in open rebellion.
Yeah.
That they're saying, well, no, we think you're wrong on this.
Yep.
To which I would respectfully say to them, okay, this is the institution. You joined it. You should bend to the institution or leave it.
Right.
That's how that works. You bend to the institution or you go find another institution. Then there's that other, so let's say 10% of those who voted are in open rebellion. Another 15% believe various things they've heard on the internet about consequentialism. For example, I'm going to be super vague because I know likely who will hear this and they know that I'm talking about them. There's a very close family member who's the pastor of, this friend of mine has a very close family member who's the pastor of a pretty big church in the Southeast. And that man has, I wouldn't say the word ordained, but has placed the title pastor on his own daughter, and she is the youth pastor.
Okay.
Which does already get into some questionable things about, are we preaching to 16, 17, 18-year-old men, and we are continuing to have them live in adolescence and not call them up to manhood? We're calling them children. It has its own issue. My point here being, there are some people who voted against the amendment because, but here's their thinking. Well, my church is a good, faithful church, and that's just his daughter. And this can't be that big of a deal. We shouldn't be dividing over this when they're good-hearted people on both sides. And this is me. I'm the unifier. I'm saying we should divide over this.
Yes.
If you're going to say it's just not that big of a deal, it is. It's huge. It's a very big deal.
Right.
And we should divide over it. You should go do something else.
Yeah.
Because the convention has spoken, and if we're going to speak again in Indianapolis, I bet it'll be around the same number. And we'll...
Or larger.
Here's the only reason I don't think it's going to be larger.
Okay.
I have found this to be the case. I think the Florida Baptist Convention might be the most conservative convention. And you always get an outsized attendance from the state you're in.
Right.
It's why Willie Rice, we'll talk about him in a minute, a pastor in Florida, I think won by the margin he won by, because he was in his home state.
Right.
And there are more Floridians there.
Right.
Their convention seems to be maybe more theologically and ecclesiologically conservative than the South Carolina Baptist Convention. That's what I found down in Florida. It's that kind of convention. When we go to Indianapolis, it's going to be easier to pull some more voters from Ohio, from the Northeast, from the Midwest. You'll have fewer people come from the South, likely.
Yep.
So I would love for it to be more, but one of the things we're finding in the convention is there are just more and more churches being pastored by bivocational guys. Churches can't support having full-time pastors. And so you know how hard it is for a bivocational pastor to take off his day job and somehow cobble together the money, which is very expensive to travel and go to those meetings. So anyway, next year, I think we'll pass it. And that'll be a good moment to reinforce one of the pillars of our convention.
Yeah, good. So you just mentioned Willie Rice. He has been elected the new president of the Southern Baptist Convention, replacing Clint Presley, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And he was term limited. It's not like he got
2 terms
ousted. And my understanding is that Clint Presley did a good job.
Phenomenal job, yeah.
But Willie Rice he's an interesting character and an interesting story all the way around, because he was kind of involved in that first wave of, hey, we have to deal with the sexual abuse stuff.
That's right.
Like, explain that for us.
You might end up knowing more about it than I do, because I caught on to Willie Rice pretty late. I actually had my big brother, our lead pastor at our church, text me about who we wanted to vote for at this convention. He preferred Willie Rice. And I texted him back a month ago and said, I have not earned the right to have a position on this yet.
Yeah.
I've just not looked into it deeply enough.
Yeah.
So let me do the work. And I concluded the same thing he concluded. But my understanding is that, that Pastor Rice was caught up in some allegations of how he handled some things improperly.
Right.
And was not treated well by the convention. We were in that feverish moment a couple years after the the secular world went through a Me Too, and then the Church Too thing happened.
Rachel Den Hollander being one of the big figures there.
And so whereas I think the scriptures would call us to hear both sides of every argument, that one of the Proverbs says, I think, one person always seems right until you hear the other person, something to that effect.
Yep.
And he got caught up in one of those moments where we are not as an institution going to listen to both sides. We're giving a preference to those making the accusation.
Yeah, which is directly against Scripture.
Yes, it's not the way to run an institution at all. And so I think he was, I hate to say that we were like railroaded. He was treated poorly. That's as far as he was treated poorly. And now just, I think 6 years after that, he's president of the convention.
Right.
That's a big turnaround.
Right. And he's really shifted his stance on like, hey, we really messed that up.
He did. And this is the way in which you just said, for example, Clint Presley did a good job. I think Willie will do in an important way. So let me give you 2 categories in which presidents can do a good or bad job.
Okay.
One barely matters in that they preside over the annual meeting for 2 days.
Right.
Clint was good at that. Your parliamentarians are good at that. Probably my favorite one still, for all of the issues people have with him, J.D. Greear was really fun at that because he's funny and he's an interesting person to be in control of the room.
Good communicator, all
and
that
he
kind of
can
stuff.
ease some tensions when you need to. Clint was good at that too. We'll see how Willie does with that. But here's where you find out if a president is going to be useful for your convention or not. The president chooses people who choose the people. So we have a committee on...
This is the most Baptist part of the Southern Baptist Convention.
Okay, so I'm blanking. I think it's called the Committee on Nominations. And the Committee on Nominations chooses the people that will come up with the Committee on Committees. And the Committee on... We have a Committee on Committees. So we are board run. As an institution, boards are the one who choose leaders. Boards are the ones who make all the big decisions. So if you have presidents picking the wrong people to choose the boards, you're going to have rotten institutions.
Right.
And Willie is a guy, I should stop saying that, Dr. Rice seems like the guy to me who's going to take that more seriously than just about any president we've had.
Yeah. I have, and this is obviously me speaking from the outside, but guys like Bart Barber, like I think he was a bit compromised in certain areas. I'm not calling him a liberal.
Of course.
But I think he snuggled up to some liberal ideas too frequently, such as a panel discussion he did on Christian nationalism, I believe acting as the president of the SBC, which also included a Unitarian minister.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Not a fan of that.
I don't think we're going to get any of that from Willie Rice.
Yeah, I think that's right. You got to be careful about with whom you share the stage, especially while you are the president.
Right.
This was one of Clint Presley's big strengths. Is when he took on the office, he largely stopped talking about things that that were controversial inside the convention. When he knew this was a 90% issue in the convention, he would talk about it.
Right.
But beyond that, he seemed like he wanted to be an honest arbiter for those years. And I think we're about to see him change. He doesn't have the title of president anymore. He's going to be more opinionated.
Yep.
Where Barber did not take on the full responsibility of, now you're president. Whether you would do something or not, you need to ask yourself how the other people who elected you would handle that.
So the other guy who ran for president...
Phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
Josh Powell.
One of the interesting things surrounding the Southern Baptist Convention, and also the PCA for that matter, because there's been this tug of war between conservatives and more liberalizing influences, is I've heard a couple people say, well, it's good that Willie Rice won because otherwise it would have been a leftist.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. This gets on my nerves too, that we use political language in this.
And this parallels the podcast episode you just put out with the South Carolina primary season is why don't we stop lying about people in our political ads?
Yes. Guys that I think most people would say they're to my right. I don't think of it that way, but in our weird political world, people that would be to my right I'm getting ads in my mailbox calling them liberals. It's a tax and spend liberal. Like, he's a lot of things. He's not that.
My state rep is Rob Harris.
Okay.
And very much on equal protection for the unborn kind of thing. And I got mailers of he missed 150 votes and he's siding with liberals to protect abortion rights and that kind of...
Absolutely
no, he's not.
That's just a lie. Look, listen, we don't have liberals in the convention. If we do, theological liberals and people who are theologically liberal in their ecclesiology. I'm telling you, it's less than 10% of, especially the voters and people in the pews. It's non-existent. It's not there. I think of it. That's why you asked if it was going to be about my position and disposition thing. Okay.
Yep.
That's the difference. The difference is not our theological positions, although we have some differences, but they're all conservative positions. Mm-hmm. They are dispositional. The best way to say it is this. There's a group of people that I actually might lean. I think I have a foot in both ways, in both camps here, and I might have a toe in this first camp.
Okay.
A foot and a toe. And it's largely, guys, it's not that bad. We have a pretty good convention.
Yeah.
And then there's another group, and I don't want to caricature them because a fringe of them is a caricature, and their characterization of our convention is we are moments away from apostasy. Heresy is everywhere. You have no idea how many critical race theorist professors you have in your seminaries. You have liberals everywhere, and it's all falling apart.
The Bolsheviks are surrounding Nashville.
The barbarians are at the gate. That's where we are. And I'll go ahead and say it. Some of these have misaligned incentives. Let me give you a political illustration.
Okay.
For my entire life, immigration has been a better issue to run on than fix.
Yes.
And so politicians don't try to fix it. They want to have the issue so they can go every 2 years, every 4 years and say, we'll seal the border. The other side says, we will not let these mean Republicans over there kick people out. We want to keep the issue alive because I can raise money. There's some people in our convention who have businesses. Their industry is riling people up. Right. And so if you start to give the impression that it's all right, it's not as bad as you think it is, well, money stops coming in. Clicks go down. Right. People don't watch your stuff anymore.
We can't have that.
Your whole brand is everything is a disaster.
Yep.
Well, what happens when things are a big, gigantic disaster? Then no one cares about you anymore.
Right.
And so some people have a great deal of incentive to make it seem like it's a disaster all the time. And I can't stand those people. I'm talking to you, William Wolf. I have a lot I could say that. I'll stop right there.
There are times when he absolutely nails it. There are times when he overshoots drastically.
Yeah, and I am going to.
And I would say that is more frequent than I just let on.
I'll just leave him there. He's mostly irrelevant. There's a lot of guys like him. So I am saying I do tend towards guys. I've heard your complaints from the other camp, and say I see what you're saying. I think we need to reinforce some things. I think we have problems. I see it. I don't think there's quite as intense as you think they are. And so it's not a positional difference, it's dispositional. Guys like Josh, guys like Bart Barber tend to be institutionalists and they're saying, we're fine. It's not nearly as bad. And so guys like me want to say back to a Barber or Josh, it's a little worse than you think. We need to be very careful about who you appoint because this also can go badly quickly.
Yes.
Institutions can fall apart quickly.
If we get the wrong guys in positions of authority, then they can really screw things up down the road.
So instead of maybe saying liberals and conservatives, leftists and traditionalists or whatever, the real two camps are the it's okay camp and the it's not okay camp.
Yeah.
Those are your differences.
And you definitely fit in both.
I do. Yeah, I do. I think I live in the word is, I think, some vigilance. I'm going to steal now hardcore from a sermon I heard from our lead pastor a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
We are going through the Kings right now. The book of Kings, I should say.
Yippee.
Rehoboam, Jeroboam, all that, all those guys. And he had a point here about vigilance. He had an illustration about just in your house, if you'll listen, you hear a leak. You hear something creaking that should be creaking. You better go deal with it. Mm-hmm. It could get worse.
Right.
It could get very bad. And what I'm hearing in the convention, to me, the sink is dripping. Mm-hmm. I want to deal with that. The toilet is constantly running. Like it's just always filling. I want to go deal with that. And so I think if I talk to a barber or some guys would say, it's not maybe much of a drip. We don't have a toilet that's always running.
Right.
And the issue is I think I go talk to the guys who might agree with me that we have problems and they're saying the house is on fire. Like, guys, no, the sink is dripping.
I'm just making sure the plumbing doesn't fall apart and then ruin the foundation.
Yes, I want to reinforce all of our pillars. I just don't think that things are falling apart.
Right.
That's our president, Willie Weiss. He's going to be great. I had, I think, one other thing maybe one or two other things I wanted to just generally say from my reaction of going to the convention.
Okay.
You mind?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So that I've kind of already covered it with the camps really being about are we okay, or do we have major problems? And I'm telling you, I think I'm in the middle. I've already kind of skewered the people I wanted to skewer, saying some people are malign intent. Their incentives are to tell you everything is terrible, but then also to say to other Baptist leaders who end up listening to this that care about my opinion on these things, we have a very good thing. And if we don't guard it, we can lose it. I do want to take some guys off of autopilot.
Right.
I've noticed, in now 10 years of going to these annual meetings, the change has been trust. The Baptists have never had a denomination. I can't tell you how important it is for you to understand that. We don't have denomination. It gets overlooked. There is very little national power.
Right.
The convention actually literally only exists for 2 days a year.
Right.
We gavel it to order. We gavel it at the end. That's the only time a national convention exists. So there's no national powers over Riverview Baptist Church in Greenville. That's not how Presbyterians work and Lutherans work. It's very important that we recognize that most denominations work like our current American government, where the federal government is all power over everything. It's swallowed up counties and cities and states. The only thing that matters is the feds. We are still, as it is, the Baptists, under the Articles of Confederation.
Right.
We have very disparate power.
Which don't threaten Patrick Henry with a good time, right?
I know. That's how we run. And so what's happened over years is people who are so spread out decided, we're not really great at sending a lot of missionaries, and we think lostness in the world's a big deal. Can we get together about that? We think more churches need to be planted. It's hard to do by ourselves.
Right.
Can we get together about that? This is the biggest one for me. I am nervous about how we're going to educate enough pastors. Can we get together and do something about that with seminaries? That's the most important thing we do, to me, is our seminaries. And for that matter, it's hard to do our own VBS curriculums. Can we come together and do that? It's hard to publish things. Can we come together and do that? Anyway, and for years, there was another illustration I'm now stealing from our lead pastor. There was a standard deviation. And inside our standard deviation, there was what you called traditionalists and Calvinists.
Yep.
There were the A-mill, post-mill, pre-mill. There were the rapture people. There was KJV onlyists, and there were those who were not.
Yep.
They're all Baptists. And so I come to someone like me and say, yeah, I do want to send missionaries. And, if the missionary we send is a KJV only guy who happens to be pre-mill, pre-trib, he's got a little bit of a different version of the atonement, but it's inside Orthodoxy. Yeah, I'd send that guy. He's not my preference, but he's still in my tribe.
Yeah.
I could
have to hold your nose sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're also going to send some of my tribe.
Right.
My type are going to go start churches. My type's going to go overseas as well. They're in our standard deviation. What's happened over time is people have come in who are no longer in the standard deviation. And so people like me are saying, whoa, hold on. If we are planting a church that would have a woman preach, I don't actually want to anymore. I don't want to partner anymore.
Right.
You're outside.
Yeah. I'm not giving you money. I'm not going to promote you to my friends in that city or anything like that.
Exactly. I'm out all the way. And so we have to be careful about our standard deviation. The illustration I heard came from manufacturing, but we could probably do this with guitar pedals.
Yes.
I suspect if you make 10 Osteen distortions, to 99% of people, they all sound the same. But you, the expert, will be able to hear that one of the 10 just not quite right. And there's going to be some component part, some soldering in that one that just was outside of your standard deviation. So you toss that one.
This is actually very interesting because resistors are the ones I use are plus or minus 1%. And then you have capacitors typically between plus or minus 1 to 5%. But then you get to the potentiometers, which is what knobs turn. Okay. Those are plus or minus 20%. And it doesn't matter which potentiometer you get in the world, they're going to be 20%. And so it could be, if you have a 100 kiloohm pot, then it could be down to 80. It could actually be up to 120. Realistically, you're going to find the range, like the values that you are going to use. So ultimately, it's not going to sound horrible, but the deviation is still there. And you're right. Every now and then, there's one where it's just like, that something's not right here.
And you just got to toss it.
And I rip that circuit board out, make a new one, and move on with my day.
And that's what we are doing right now with our churches who have left standard deviation.
You're not getting rid of the entire product line.
Yes.
You're not even discontinuing the product.
That's so good. Yeah.
You're just replacing the circuit board. You're saying, no, that one didn't pass muster. I need to do some quality control.
Yes. This is the exact illustration. Your guitar pedals work perfect for this.
Yep. This doesn't happen very often.
The guitar pedals are a good illustration.
Yeah.
So we have to keep, I'm trying to awaken some, calm down others. We do need to hold to our standard deviation.
Mm-hmm.
We can partner with people who disagree on some stuff, but the stuff that we disagree on has to be in our theological triage, as Dr. Moeller would say.
Yep.
We have to define that really well.
And to use an old war analogy, if you have to hold the line, if you start freaking out for any reason, if you want to start attacking too early, or if you don't want to attack early enough or soon enough, or if you just run away screaming, then things start to fall apart then too. Like you have to hold the line properly.
Yeah. And I think we just showed in Orlando, we have enough guys to do that. This is actually going well. That's like the last thought I had, like coming home at one point, I wondered, because you need some setup for this. Let me give you some context.
Yes.
We're the largest convention of churches or denomination by both attendance on Sunday mornings, but also by dollars. It is a big, big budget.
Yep.
But I believe it's now 3 years in a row that the budget shrank. And our executive committee they had to show us the budget. They're cutting stuff. Our home office in Nashville, the only thing that actually does kind of operate year round,
right?
There's reductions having to happen. And my theory here is our large churches, the big Southern Baptist churches, have always been big givers, but have probably maxed out their capacity to give.
Yep.
What happened was middle and low end churches, of which there are thousands, started giving the minimum because we started getting out of standard deviation as a convention of churches. Those smaller to mid churches who were giving maybe a good bit brought it down to the absolute minimum they could give,
right?
Until they saw the changes they want,
right?
All right. Well, I need to say to that group that has not been giving the last few years because you have seen problems that you wanted to fix. I would love for you guys to start thinking about what your line is. When are we good again?
Right.
When is it worth you diving back in and being generous again with the resources the Lord has given you?
Stick thing. Like when do we actually get there?
You've gotten your president. You got the one you wanted. You've gotten a giant, and I should say you, because I'm part of this too. I wanted Willie Rice. I wanted the Truth and Unity Amendment, not just you guys, but for you guys who have been so skeptical, that have been saying that the house is on fire. At what point do you say, the house is not on fire? Because let me tell you about your own nervous system. If you stay here in this heightened state forever, you're going to shorten your lives for one.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be a disaster all the time, and you've got to decide when you will judge. We've made enough progress. And I want to dive back in with international missions, with church planting in North America, with our seminaries, with Lifeway, with some of our with Guidestone, our retirement for pastors. Just a lot of stuff that we do. And I want you to think about that if you're one of the people who've reduced giving because you've not trusted the convention of churches.
And that again doesn't mean there's no accountability involved. Like if the North American Mission Board starts to get outside of that deviation, International Mission Board and so on, like call them on it.
Yes.
And hey, we can fix this. The ERLC, like they've had some accountability in recent years, rightfully so.
Yeah, they're the guy who I think I said on your show, I wish their leader, whoever, I forgot their leader's name, I wish he would just like leave and go pastor a church or something.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah.
I think he's a pastor in like Chattanooga now.
Good.
And they have a new leader appointed. People seem to be quite satisfied. Even the people who are the House is on Fire people I think they're a pretty big fan of the new ERLC guy. And let me, because I've been a little bit pejorative to the House is on Fire people. We just came out of a convention where it does seem like you like the ERLC leader, you like your president, you've got your amendment. You deserve some credit.
Yes.
You have been cantankerous. You have been you have been agitating for years now.
Yeah.
And it seems like you just came away with something approaching total victory. And I'm going to get to enjoy those victories, even while you guys got on my nerves a lot.
I mean, Hebrews 10 does say in the verse that typically gets thrown around as, hey, go to church. And yes, go to church. But stirring one another up, like that Greek is agitate. Or annoying.
Yes.
Like, yes, annoy each other to good works. And those cantankerous people obeyed that pretty well.
Yeah. This is oh man, Cody, my big brother and I, Doug and I, talked about this on the way down. We were both just so annoyed by this group of people. They're usually more my disposition. There's a group of people who want A. Let's just use, instead of just saying A, they want Willie Rice. They prefer Willie Rice. But they see that some other people that want Willie Rice are obnoxious people.
Yep.
They will vote for the thing they don't want to spite the people they don't like. It's just an unbelievably immature way to live. If what you want happens to be good and right, and then some people you don't like want the thing too, even if they're and the word I'm looking for is motivation is wrong. Just go get the thing.
Just
go get the good thing.
This is the Baptist version of Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes, like I already said the name of one guy who I just can't stand. He also wanted Willie Rice. Cool, vote for him. I don't even know if that guy was a messenger, by the way. I don't know if he can even vote.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there are some people who are going to be happy about the outcome of this convention, and those people I'm not a fan of. I wouldn't want to partner with them, but I still want the good things.
Right.
And so they did agitate. They were cantankerous. Some of us deserve some credit too, in that the way that you guys communicate was never going to be effective with some people.
Yep.
And when you get from whatever it was, 64% last year when the amendment failed.
Just barely missed it, yeah.
Just barely. I mean, I think it was less than 100 votes. To overwhelmingly at 75%, everyone had to be effective.
Right.
Everybody had to win some over.
Right.
Part of what those guys are so good at is just laying the burden on pastors across the country. Show up. It's incredible how low the turnout rate is, man.
It is.
And, I mean, I've been going for 10 years. Well, take out 2020 because of COVID. So I've gone to 9 annual meetings in 10 years. This is our second largest. And even with our second largest, it was just under 12,000 voting members. So almost 30,000 people showed up total, because you have visitors and you have media and you have vendors. Well, see, 12,000 messengers in a convention that has something like 40,000 churches.
Right.
So what are we looking at here? Is that a 25% turnout rate? A little bit more. This is like barely South Carolina primary turnout rates. You know, we get 10, 11, 12% of voters to show up. And the agitators tend to do a good job of just saying, figure it out. Sleep in your car. Get here and vote. Just whatever you got to do, get here and vote.
Yeah, do a GoFundMe if you have to with your church and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of guys, I noticed, stepped up to microphones this year, and there was kind of an emphasis on it for the first time in my life of guys like me. I work a day job, and I'm an elder. And what's wonderful for my situation is we have a dedicated lead pastor who can take 90% of the ministry burden, and he does.
Right.
For at least what you would consider staff ministry burden and all that. It seems like a lot of these guys are doing both jobs. Like they are what I don't like calling it senior pastor. They are they're primarily responsible in the place where they're serving in church, and they work 40 or 50 hours a week.
Right.
I don't know how they're doing it, but those guys were honored a good bit this week, and those are the guys that have to show up in Indianapolis if we're going to do this again.
Right. Good stuff. Anything else? Any parting shots?
No, just an affirmation to Westminster Doxology Podcast. You guys are valuable. Your conversations are valuable. I listen every week. For those who came here to hear me, if you do not subscribe to these guys yet, it's always very good conversation.
And my parting shot is record more things in your car, please.
I'll do my best. So thanks for inviting me. It's always fun.
Yes. Go love God. Love your neighbor. Make some music. If you're in the SBC, go to the convention next year. We'll see you next time.
Peace.